it back to Atlanta. Funny how present turns past.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Not So Black
and White.
I'm Will.
I'm Mariah.
We're here in Piedmont Park in Atlanta.
And
we're just doing a discussion on Black Lives Matter.
Yep, Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter.
Yes.
And why the Black Lives Matter movement is so important, especially right now in America and worldwide.
Definitely.
Stay tuned. Okay, so the reason why and what made me really want to talk about this is not just because he's white and I'm black, obviously. And our YouTube channel is named Not So Black and White. But anyway, the real reason why I really wanted to talk about this is because I was on my way home from work early morning of sometime last week. And on the Ricky Smiley morning show, one of the co-hosts asked, what do interracial couples talk about when it comes to racial inequality and like the Black Lives Matter movement in America? And I feel like it's not talked about in the interracial community as much. At least I haven't seen it as much. And we really just wanted to come on here and, give our opinions and talk about why saying all lives matter kind of diminishes the fact that Black Lives Matter.
Hey guys, so saying that Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that white lives, Hispanic lives, or Asian lives don't matter, but that Black lives are being taken more often and that Black people are being treated unfairly just due to the color of their skin, and they're targeted. Mariah, if she was walking down the street, she'd be racially profiled. And we can't have any more of that in America, and it has to change now.
Okay, so why Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter? The All Lives Matter part of that really is trying to say that, not that Black people don't matter, but that, things are happening to everybody in life. But it's happening at a disproportionate rate to African Americans in this country. So, in terms of All Lives Matter, or Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean that us supporting the Black Lives Matter movement doesn't mean that I don't support his life. Like that his life is not important because he's not Black.
So supporting the Black Lives Matter movement doesn't mean that, I don't care about my life or my family's life, but we're not being targeted. We're not being attacked, killed. It's so prominent to see racial profiling, police brutality on African American people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so today we're dressing all black too because we wanted to, come to Piedmont Park today and kind of join the protest and, get some video of how passionate people are.
We ain't giving them nothing but smoke, because they ain't giving us nothing but injustice and bullshit and lies for generations and generations. So you know what they get?
And
the diversity that we've seen out here as well. Siege, a lot of different people.
Different colors, different races, different ages, exactly. Which is amazing to see. And just the amount of people almost brought me to tears, and them yelling, George Floyd, say his name, George Floyd. Yeah, that was, it spoke volumes. And they're still out doing it. And
they're still out there right now.
Yep.
We just couldn't catch up to them.
Yeah. Because I'm like, it's 3:45, we need to do the house.
Oh, whatever.
No, it's probably my fault.
She's still getting her hair done. Her hair ready. I just want to reiterate that it's amazing to see that around the world people are protesting that Black lives do matter. And
that my life matters.
That her life matters. And it's sad to think that, a lot of people out there don't think that her life matters.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing that in our lifetime we've never seen or experienced this.
And that everybody's coming together to change it.
Yes.
In our lifetime.
There has been and there will be more change.
Yep. It really put it into perspective for me too. Because I didn't know what to say to people when they were like, well, all lives matter. And I'm like, okay. I knew in my heart it felt wrong to kind of say that. It was almost saying that my life doesn't matter because it happens to everybody, but it's not happening to everybody. So, but anyway, this picture, which I'll put down here somewhere, it has a picture of a house, 2 houses, and there's one that's on fire, and then there's one that's not, and there's a person with a water hose watering the one that's not on fire.
Yeah.
African Americans and Black people worldwide, we're that house burning. We're burning down. We're being...
Or that community.
Right. We're the community that's being, disenfranchised, and that people don't care about. And that we're being overlooked, even though we're hurting the most.
Just like people say that, the cops don't show up quick enough to the Black community, but they'll be in a white area, yeah, in a couple minutes.
Right. Yeah. It's systematic. And that's part of the issue, is that it's so systematic that we now need to stand up and change the system.
Definitely.
Not just by, communicating more with different people, with people that don't look like you. That's a start, but these protests and the riots and the peaceful protests really are what we need to show the world that we can come together as a people, and we can come together and bring other people together without there being, violence or, racism at the forefront.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to ask you something. Do you feel like our children's, does it bother you that, people in this world think that our children's lives wouldn't matter because they're brown, even though they're half white?
Yes.
Just at face value.
Yes, of course. It's hard to think about that as well, knowing that we're going to be having children and that they're going to be looked at differently, and facing those challenges and protecting our children. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest worry, but it's a motivation to teach them their self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not only teaching them their self-worth and knowing that they can be proud of both being Black and being white. It's educating them and making sure that they know the history behind everything and what's been happening, not only with Black people in America, but how the history is intertwined in terms of white history, Black history, and just the history of the world in general. We want them to know that there are parts in this history, and even now, that they are supported, they are loved, even though they'll look different, and even though they may not have one place to fit in, one group to fit into, because they're going to be equal parts of us.
Yeah.
And this really just ties into the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter, because when I think about our kids, it's almost as if I don't want them to think that the Black part of them doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't want them to think that just because people are saying, oh, well, you shouldn't say Black Lives Matter, you should say that all lives matter. Yes, they do, but my mom's life matters, or their life matters, because they're experiencing so much inequality, and I know that there's going to be things that they're going to face that are inevitable and that we can't protect them from.
It's going to be challenging, yeah. Just being mixed in general.
Yeah.
I think, like she was saying, where to fit in. But they have to know that, they're going to be judged, and, there's going to be oppression and racism.
They're going to experience all those things, and it's our job as their parents to teach them and to, share our experiences with them, most importantly, so that they know that they're loved, just that they're loved in this world.
Definitely.
And I want to feel loved in this world, and not just because he loves me, but because people see me. People see me not because I'm brown, but because I'm Mariah. Not because I'm with him, but because I'm Mariah. Walking by myself, I just want to be seen. I want my brother to be seen, not as someone that's going to steal or I don't want my dad to be, I just feel like George Floyd could have been my dad. He could have been my brother. And that's what people don't get when they say all lives matter. Would it have been him? I guarantee you that it wouldn't have been.
And we just want to say that we want to continue to support peaceful protests and encourage peaceful protests.
Yeah, like we saw today in Piedmont Park, and that's
Exactly.
going on all over the world. And we just, in some ways, want to be a part of that and want
And we
people
love how
to.
powerful it is.
It's so powerful. Like
The feeling you get.
Yes, the feeling you get just seeing
Feeling
it.
of change.
It does feel like change. Within that change, I really just want, the both of us to be accepted, and the both of us in this
Yes.
world walking together or walking alone to be loved and to be treated fairly.
Yes, definitely.
And this is Not So Black and White, signing out.